Chapter 9 of Find Your Way Home is Stand on New Ground and Believe You Are Not Lost. So recording the video for this chapter is pretty much the last thing I'm doing before I call the Uber to head to the airport to come join you in Pasadena. I've spent the past 20 years living in St. Louis. Everywhere I go, there are memories. Sometimes I think I know every block in this city. It's been my home, the only place my children have ever called home. It is what we know. I don't know how, but in St. Louis, I can always tell you what direction the Mississippi River is. I don't even need to see it. Here in St. Louis, I know how to get around. I know who I can trust, and I know where to get the best barbecue you've ever tasted. There's something wonderful about old familiar ground, something cozy like a warm blanket on a cold night. Even the painful memories are in a strange way somehow dear because I am so used to them. But the story of God's people throughout Scripture is rarely one of staying on old familiar ground. The story of God's people throughout Scripture is one of striking out and standing on new ground. Whether it be the people of Israel wandering toward Canaan or Paul and Barnabas' journeys to lands far from home, God continually calls us out of the old familiar ground to stand on new ground. As we come together at All Saints Church, we will be standing on new ground together. For me, when I step off the plane at LAX this afternoon, it will be very literally new ground as I move halfway across the country, but it's going to be new ground for you too, as you've grown accustomed to one rector for more than 2 decades, and having someone different in that office and in that pulpit and out in the community, well, that's going to be new ground for you as well. And just as I am about to jump on that plane and head to the new ground of Pasadena, together we are going to step out and stand on new ground too. The new ground of new opportunities for witnessing to Christ's love in the world. The new ground of meeting Jesus on the margins of our society. The new ground inside that we stand upon when together we dive deep in prayer and worship and study. Together we will stand on that new ground. And that will mean saying goodbye to some old familiar things, to celebrating some good memories and processing some traumas. And we will do it because that's what the church does. And uncomfortable and strange as it might be, we will stand on new ground, and with God's grace, we will believe that we are not lost. Like the women of Magdalene, we will walk this ground in faith and trust that the Spirit leads us toward God.